Tina was at once embarrassed and furious. Seizing the moment when Henry was distracted by Linda's call and eased his grip, she launched her knee forcefully into his crotch. Oof! Henry grunted and lost his grip on Tina. She seized that moment to get away from him and got out of Henry's car. Then, holding tightly on her coat to hide her disheveled clothes while running to her car, she was still on edge until she locked the door. Meanwhile, Henry lit himself a cigarette as he reclined against his seat. Both his eyes were following Tina, while still remembering the way she looked beneath himself. Her long hair disheveled. The hickeys he left bloomed like flowers in snow over her fair skin. It was as devilish as it was alluring, and Henry's expression darkened as he gulped, his Adam's apple bobbing obviously. He took a long, deep puff before exhaling, allowing the smoke to swirl around him, keeping his expression inscrutable. That was until Linda asked in concern out loud, "What's wrong, Henry?" "What is it?" he asked nonchalantly in return. However, Linda had overheard the amorous gasp earlier, which left her stumped. She was not a virgin, and hearing that already told her what Henry was doing. Just an hour ago, Henry had an assistant take Linda home while he drove off by himself. His very presence was ice cold just then, so Linda did not dare to ask him to stay. After all, she had no idea if he was upset that Tina hurt her, or that she went to meet Tina without asking. To think that he went straight to Tina afterward for a booty call. Linda's fingers clenched around her phone, but she was not about to vent her frustrations at Henry. Instead, she kept her voice soft and rueful. "I thought you were upset with me, since you weren't there when I woke up." Henry did not respond, however, and that alone was enough to tell her that he was indeed upset. Even so, Linda was especially adept at knowing when to back down. "I'm sorry," she promptly apologized. "I knew I shouldn't have gone to see Tina, but I didn't want to do it either. You see, my heart aches for Rory. She actually woke up late last night, but you were already gone, and she cried the whole night. She kept asking me why she can't be with her father even when we are all reunited. As if there's no difference between living here or abroad. You know how much we've gone through over the last 5 years, and my heart really hurts for her. So I got a little impulsive." "That won't happen again," Henry suddenly said, his tone once again gentle. "I'll take good care of you too." "I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I know you're concerned for your grandmother, so I'll wait patiently. And I'll make sure to win the design competition, so that your father will acknowledge me." "Yeah." It was a quiet response. Linda clenched her knuckles, as she did not get the promise she expected. Over at Maple Park, once Tina got home, she headed straight to the room where she kept the urn containing Sophie's ashes. Her fingers brushed gently over the urn, and her gaze overflowed with tender affection as she examined the photo beside it. It was her daughter. So pretty, so sweet, so adorable. And time had stopped moving for her now. "Baby." Tears welled up in her eyes, and Tina rasped a promise. "Mommy will do her best." She would do her best to win the competition, and use the prize money to get her beloved daughter the best final resting place. That way, Sophie would definitely be able to rest in peace, and be born into a happy family in her next life, without having to endure the hardships she faced in this one. Tina was late to register for the design competition, and had to work overnight in order to finish her sketch just to make it in time. Still, a day later, the organizers called and asked her to be present at Skymex Tower by 2 in the afternoon the next day. After all, she still secured the last slot, and would now compete against 7 others for the top prize. As she did not want to get stuck in traffic, she took the subway. When she arrived outside Skymex Tower, she spotted a familiar Rolls-Royce Ghost. It was Henry's car. Soon, Henry alighted, walking to the back seat and arching his back to gently carry Rory out of the car. Hugging his neck, she giggled sweetly. "Thanks, Daddy. I love you." Linda hovered beside them, pretending to be jealous. "Only Daddy? What about Mommy?" "I love you too, Mommy." Kiss. Rory puckered her lips, but waited for Linda to get over instead of reaching her. Linda's smile broadened as she gazed upon her daughter tenderly. Naturally, she leaned in, not about to let her chance slip. With Henry carrying Rory, leaning in meant getting very close. So close that Linda could feel his breath on her cheek. She flushed right then and cast a shy glance at Henry. Her gaze sang 1,000 words while her heart pounded. It was such a romantic sight that all eyes were on them. Henry was the head of the Barnes family. As a powerhouse in the city of Jade Light, he rarely made public appearances, so many did not recognize him. But with that tall, dark and handsome figure, and that exceedingly expensive car, it was not all that hard to guess. In the end, all the ladies pursued good looks, wealth, and a family man. It was only natural that Linda was regarded with envy. And Linda really enjoyed those looks, even pointedly shooting Tina a look where she stood. After all, she had noticed Tina as soon as she showed up. Her smile only broadened when she noticed that Tina was looking at her and Henry, though that same smile stiffened at the next instant. They were close enough to see the design sketches Tina was holding. Those designs, and at this time, could only mean that Tina was also here for the competition. But she was not on the list. Linda had made sure to check just yesterday. In the last round, she was only supposed to compete against 6 rivals. Rivals whose standards were lackluster compared to her. Victory was at hand, but now that Tina showed up, Linda clenched her knuckles without knowing it. 5 years ago, she and Tina had both made it into Jade Light University as the top 2 entrants. While Tina was in first place and Linda second. Even Linda knew how huge the gap between them was despite being so close in placements. In short, as long as Tina was around, Linda had no chance of winning. Still, she suddenly asked out loud, "What is Tina doing here by herself?" Hearing that, Henry turned where she was looking and frowned when she saw what Tina was holding. Striding up to Tina, he demanded, "What are you doing here? Where's Sophie?" Tina pretended not to hear him and kept going. Looking around and not seeing Sophie left Henry's brow creasing further, however. "You call yourself a mother? Sophie is only 5, and you're leaving her alone at home."